Although it may seem that hunter-gatherer tribes are a thing of the past, they're actually a reality. Many people take on the traditions of their ancestors as it is the only lifestyle that they know. The stresses and distractions of the modern-day world are much different than what most hunter-gatherer tribes are concerned about: shelter, water, food, and fire. Some of these modern-day tribes consist of the Paraha of the Maiki River in the Amazon, the Sentinelese of the Andaman Islands, and the Kalahari persistence hunters.
As a group, we expected to achieve getting food, potable water, and fire. We were able to achieve all three of these. We split the task of getting food, water, and fire among our group. Our food, water, and fire would all be adequate for a real-life scenario. We calculated how much food we would need for 2 weeks, and we found enough food to last us 2 weeks.
Go. In a survival situation, one of the most valuable resources to get your hands on is clean drinking water, as the human body can only function for 3 days without water. Desalination water filters can be a burden to create, and they take long periods of time to filter out small amounts of water. So we decided to create a simple sand and charcoal water filter. A simple filter like this will be proved to be more effective during a storm, as desalinated rainwater is already at your disposal. For the filter, I cut a water bottle in half and lined the bottom with a paper towel. Then I crushed up charcoal into a fine powder and packed that at the bottom. Next, I gathered fine and larger sand grains, stacking them on top of the charcoal. The way the filter works, the larger sand grains on the top stop bits of debris and bugs from filtering through, and the fine sand and charcoal purify the water by filtering out contaminants. The water that drips through the bottom is clean and drinkable. I learned about this filter through multiple YouTube videos and websites, the most credible being King of Random, a popular YouTuber who specializes in science experiments. In testing this filter out, we found it to be successful. However, it is hard to tell without proper water quality testing.
Edible. A single classroom trash can holds up to 10 gallons of water. The recommended water per day is 64 ounces, and the minimum is 32 ounces. One trash can would be enough water for 20 days of water for one person, based off if a person drinks 64 ounces of water each day. We would need 4 classroom trash cans filled with water to have enough water for each member of our group, given that we have 5 people in our group and we need to survive for 2 weeks or 14 days.
There are a variety of edible plants located on campus. One is burdock. The stalk and leaves of burdock are edible raw or boiled. The roots can be peeled and boiled as well. Another is cattail. The root, stalk, and rhizomes of cattail can be either boiled or eaten raw, and its flower can be eaten in the summer when the plant is first developing. Also, clovers can be eaten raw but taste better boiled. As well as clovers, dandelion are entirely edible, although older leaves are slightly more bitter than younger leaves. The roots can be boiled, and once the water has cooled, it can be drank as tea. Green seaweed and kelp, which is also a type of seaweed, can be pulled from the water, rinsed off with fresh water, and left to dry. Kelp has a good source of vitamin K and folate. Purslane is a small plant with sour leaves that are fat and smooth. Eaten either raw or boiled, it grows from the beginning of summer to the start of the fall. Pickleweed is another edible source of food found on campus. It can be eaten raw, although it is extremely salty.
1 gram of acorns contains 110 calories. Acorns come from oak trees, which have a large population on our campus, making it easy for us to find many acorns. In order to eat the acorns, you must first collect them. Once you have collected the acorns, you have to shell them. You can even use a rock to shell them. Once the acorns are shelled, you must put them in a bowl or pan of warm water. The water leaches the tannic acid out of the acorn, which, if consumed, makes a person very sick. You must change the water out 2 to 3 times to completely get rid of the tannic acid. Once the tannic acid has been leached out of the acorns are...
To create a fire with limited resources, one must take multiple factors into account. First of all, means of starting a fire, which in this case I used a simple flint-based fire starter. You also need kindling and regular sticks as fuel for the fire. I created a log cabin style fire, which means I took sticks and kindling, and I stacked the sticks every other in a square pattern and kept the kindling in the middle. I used cotton to start the fire, as in the event of a hurricane, it would be hard to come across dry pine needles and kindling, which normally light pretty easily, so striking the cotton a few times goes up in flames pretty fast, so if you just cut off the edge of your shirt, it'd be easy to start a fire. After lighting the cotton, I used that to light the pine needles, which then I built the log cabin frame around. And to strengthen the fire, I continued to add sticks and blow on it from their base to circulate more oxygen through, thus creating bigger flames.
Davis and I attempted to fish for 30 minutes and caught a single small fish that wouldn't feed one of us. By this result, we realized that fishing would not be a reliable source of food.
This is my snare. It's pretty snary. So, snare has 4 basic parts. You've got the motor here, which will pull on the lock, which is attached to the anchor. The anchor is just holding the lock to the ground. And the lock is attached to the noose, which is going to catch whatever stupid animal kind of wanders through your little rope trap. It's not the greatest snare, but it'll work in a pinch. So, yeah, that's how snares work. It's going to be great.
Oh look, some nice food. Ah! I'm caught!
Look, Ben, we got one!